Welcome back, everyone, to the Digital Product Mama podcast. I am your host, Lindsay Bowden, and I have my friend Lauren here, who I've known for a really long time virtually. We've actually never met in person, but we've probably been chatting back and forth on Instagram since like 2019, maybe before that. I don't know. It's been a long time. So, super excited to talk with Lauren today. So, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited. So, tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do.
All right. Well, I am an educator from Texas. I taught eighth grade math, algebra, geometry for 9 years. And 4 years ago, I started my TPT store after I took Lindsay's The Resource Academy course, which I'll talk more about later. And it just started as a side hustle for me and my husband. Well, me, but my husband's also a teacher. So it was really life-changing to get a side hustle as a two-teacher family. And it allowed us to pay off debt and travel more. And most recently, it's allowed me to leave the classroom to stay home with my baby that's due in a week.
So exciting. I cannot wait to talk about all that. Okay. So let's go back then. So you started 4 years ago on TPT. And does your husband also have a TPT store?
No, he does not.
I've
I've asked
that girl.
I've asked him if he do you have anything you want me to throw on my TPT store? And he's like, no, it's all in my head. He's a very different, he's like type B and I'm more type A. But I will say he helps me some with TPT during the summer. So
That's great.
yes,
What does he teach? I forgot.
elementary music.
Okay. So completely different.
Yes, yeah,
Man, that's a really good niche. He should really start a store.
I think so too.
Let me talk to him. I'll get him on there. I love it. Okay, that's exciting. Okay, so 4 years ago, you started your store and kind of tell me what prompted you to start a store. Did you already have some resources? How did that all happen?
Well, my first few years of teaching, I was an avid TPT buyer.
Mm.
And I really liked using technology in the classroom. And I took like the Google Educator certification course, thought that would help me learn how to create resources, which it kind of did. But if you've tried to create resources in Google Docs and Google Slides before, it doesn't go very well.
Mhm.
Um, and so I really wanted to make my own and I was trying to, but I didn't know how. And then I found your course and it showed me just how to take it to the next level and make my own resources on PowerPoint.
Mm.
And I really took your course just with the intention of making resources for my own classroom. But after I made several of them, I was like, I've bought stuff like this on TPT before, so I should just throw it on TPT and see how it does. And it has way exceeded my expectations. So the first like real product line that I made was guided notes lessons for eighth grade math TEKs. So that was why I wanted to make resources for my own classroom because I'm in Texas. We have the TEKs and it was hard to find stuff that was aligned to our standards on Teachers Pay Teachers. And I guess other teachers were seeing that too, because within me posting like 3 units, I was getting questions on TPT and emails asking like, when are you going to post the next unit? I'm ready for it. So that's kind of how I got started.
That's amazing. And that's such a niche, like a small niche. I mean, you would think making resources just for one state might not be profitable, but obviously there's tons of other teachers in Texas that needed the same thing that you did. And I feel like
Yes.
teachers don't realize that. I hear all the time from teachers like TPT is oversaturated and everything's already been made before. And it's like, no, if you need it for your classroom, then chances are other teachers need it too. And that's how I got started as well. Same thing with
Mhm.
notes and worksheets, because in Georgia, when I started, we didn't have a textbook. And we were just thrown to the wolves our first year with nothing to teach. I'm like, I cannot teach these children without guided notes like that. That is
Yeah.
really what helps with math. So that's so funny that that's how you started too.
Mhm.
Okay, so you started making these units and then you got more questions. Did you end up making like a full curriculum, or where did that go, that product line?
So I finished the eighth grade notes that school year, the 2021 school year, because I was like making them for my own classroom as I went. And then I actually had been making video lessons along the way
Okay.
because this was virtual crazy COVID teaching
Okay.
days.
Oh, yeah.
And that summer I posted them on YouTube. I was like, let me just post them on YouTube and see how that does. And that has done really well, and that drives a lot of traffic to my store. So I didn't have a full curriculum by the year, but I had a full year bundle of the guided notes
Okay.
for, for 8th grade. And then I got questions, will you make algebra? Which that was a no-brainer for me because I also taught algebra. So that was easy.
Mm.
And then I also got questions, will you make 7th grade? Which I had not taught 7th grade before. But I worked closely with a 7th grade teacher who was using my 8th grade notes with the advanced class. Um, and she was like, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. So I also ended up making 7th grade with her help because I hadn't taught 7th grade before. So I needed someone to ask questions about. So that's how it started with 8th grade. And then after listening to my customers, I added 7th grade in algebra, just notes. And now I'm going back and doing the worksheets. And then I'll add assessments. So I'm building my curriculum a little bit different than some people do because I'm
Right.
just adding like one part at a time.
Right. Well, and it's listening to what your customers are wanting. So if people start asking you for things, then that's what you need to make because they're gonna
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
a good way to figure out what is going to be profitable is what are people asking for. And they will. Teachers are very like they're on it. I get the Q&As all the time. Can you do this? Can you
Yep.
like, okay. Well, now I know what I'm making next.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, that's great. So now you have like three potential curriculums and curriculums. I mean, you can charge like 300, 400, $500 for those. And if you have those, you know, those frequent buyers, those loyal customers, they're going to buy those big bundles. And that's really how you make the big bucks. So
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
exciting.
I got a review yesterday that made me smile so big. If she had left me like 10 reviews in a row, and on the last one, she had put, this is my favorite TPT store. And I was like, oh, that makes me so happy because she's coming back and what I'm making is helping her.
Right. Yeah. And I think yeah, that's really when it hits home that you're not just doing this for the money or for a side hustle, which is why a lot of people start at TPT Store and why not? But
Yeah.
when you realize that there are teachers out there that don't have any desire to make their own resources.
Hmm.
They would just rather buy it. And if you can create really good quality resources, that's going to help that teacher. That's going to help their students. I mean,
Yes.
I've gotten reviews before saying like my kids finally understand it or they're excited to do a lesson. And that makes you feel so good.
Hmm.
I,
Yeah.
I, I see a lot of teachers that have the mentality of, well, teachers should just share everything for free. Whatever they're creating, they should just share it. I'm like, no. If you're going to be spending your time creating these resources, then you should get paid for it, just like you get paid to
Yeah.
teach in the classroom. And I feel like other teachers are willing to do that because they don't
Hmm.
do it. They would rather pay for it. So I
Yes.
love that when you really see that your hard work is paying off in bigger ways than just for you. That's great. Love it. Okay, so you sell on TPT. Do you sell anywhere else, like your own website or Etsy or anything?
I am in the process of setting up a Shopify store.
Okay.
Um, the sales tax is a big hurdle to get over. I'm having to work with an accountant for the first time on that, but she's great. Um, there's a few reasons that I've done that, that I wanted to start a Shopify store. The first reason is I've started to get a few emails from teachers saying my district won't buy from TPT. Do you
Mm.
sell elsewhere? Um, which that's a whole other thing that we don't need to get into unless you want to. But that's one of the reasons. And then another reason why is I've had teachers tell me, I want to buy your 7th grade, 8th grade, and algebra curriculum. Do you have a discount? And
Mm.
it's hard to do those on Teachers Pay Teachers. And if they're going to buy 3 full curriculums, I'm definitely okay with giving them a little bit of a discount. So I can control that more with Shopify. And then also, a lot of people find me through YouTube, and Shopify will sync with YouTube. There's
Uh,
like a YouTube shop section. And I have the link for my products in my description of YouTube, but I still get emails from customers like, where can I buy this? Because so I'm
yes.
hoping that once I sync it with Shopify and it like pops up in the video, here's the product, that will help my buyers more.
That's such a good point. I did not know that Shopify linked with YouTube. That's
I found that out like a year ago when I started thinking about opening my own website. And I was like, okay, I need to go with Shopify since it
right.
does that.
That's really, really smart because you already have that traffic. Yeah, I TPT definitely has pros and cons like everything. And I definitely recommend any new teacher seller starting on TPT because it already has the traffic and you don't
Hmm.
have to market if you know how to do keywords and descriptions and previews and cover photos, things like that. It already is just a well-known established website. But like you said, there are limitations. So I started my own website because I wanted to offer payment plans for my
Mm.
curriculums. And of course, you can't do that with TPT. So I use WooCommerce on WordPress, similar to Shopify, but pros and cons to that as well. But I don't get hardly maybe like a tenth of the sales on my website versus TPT. But when you have those buyers reach out and say, I can't pay the full 400 for a curriculum, oh, here, go to my website, I have a payment plan. So it does help with that for sure. And
Hmm.
if you already have so much traffic on YouTube, that's so smart to just link it because if you've ever shopped on TPT, you have to have an account. You have to sign in before you buy. So that is friction for a lot of buyers. So it's really smart. Love it. Okay. So I know you said that you took my program, the Resource Academy. What other ways have you invested in your business? And do you feel like those investments have paid off? What do you say to someone who is new and maybe wants to invest in starting their TPT store?
Um, I think that investing in the beginning is hard when you don't have the extra side hustle income yet. But it is definitely worth it. Like I never would have been able to make products to the level that I'm at if I hadn't taken your course. Um, and then I guess I kind of saw that as I was building the rest of my business. Like I kept hearing I need to start an email list, I need to start an email list, but I had no idea how. So I'm in Rebranded Teacher Academy with Lauren Fulton, and I ended up she offered an email coaching. And I was like, okay, I need to do this someone that I can meet with and talk to about email and ask my questions
Yes,
to. So I invested in that, and that has definitely paid off. It's crazy how I can just send out one email about a new product and my TPT sales are really good for that day just from
right.
that email. So it's definitely been worth it to do that. And then templates,
Mm-hmm.
I am in Steve Book's not Teach with Sheets. What does he call his? Sheetload of templates. That's what it is. Um, I can make 3 digital products in a day and post them on TPT the day before a sale. It brings a bunch of traffic to my store. So those things are investment, and sometimes it's hard thinking like, oh, I'm spending this money. But if you do it the right way and you put your time into it, you're gonna see a return on your investment.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love both of those people. Lauren and Steve have both been on the podcast, so they are
Oh,
great
good.
for your TPT store for sure. Yeah, templates are just a game changer. Absolutely. And then Lauren is a marketing queen. So I love that. Yeah, investing is definitely hard in the beginning when you're like, am I going to get this money back? But
Hmm.
invest with the right people who, have a good track record and have good testimonials, then you should get the money back. You should get that return on investment. And it's so important. And I feel like it really expedites the process versus trying to DIY it. I tried to DIY
Yes.
my store for like 2 years and didn't do anything with it. You're just not as motivated. When you put some skin in the game and invest, you're like, okay, I got to make this back. So I better be like getting to work, putting some skin
Yes.
in there.
Yeah. And I've taken some other courses that I might not necessarily recommend to someone, but I don't feel like it's wasted money because everyone has their own specialty, um, and own tips that they'll tell you. So I feel like even if it hasn't completely changed my business, it hasn't been a total waste.
That's true. Yeah. All those little tidbits of information really add up.
Mhm.
Love it. Okay, so we kind of already said, for someone that is looking to start their TPT store, start selling, what advice do you have? And, we talked about investing. Is there anything else you would recommend for someone who's brand new?
I would definitely say just get started. Done is better than perfect.
Mm.
Sometimes I still have that issue where I'm like, is this perfect? Should I post it to TPT yet? It's like, no, done is better than perfect. You're not going to get sales if you don't have it up there. You're not going to be able to help teachers if you don't have it up there. And then, like we talked about, if you're seeing a need in your classroom for something, chances are another teacher is seeing that same need too. So definitely just take the plunge and get started. It's hard, and
Yeah.
then listen to your customers like I described what mine were asking for.
Yes, absolutely. So, okay, you've been on TPT for a while. Do you have any more advanced tips for maybe established TPT sellers that you've learned along the way?
um, yes, I can't take credit for this one that I'm about to share. This one I learned from Lauren Fulton.
Yeah.
But I've heard other people talk about it in podcasts too. So I definitely would suggest having your products in a product line.
Mm.
Like my notes are just one page, so I only charge them for $1.50, but I have a full year of them. They're in a big bundle on TPT. So in my preview for the individual product, this is what my husband does during his summers. He adds a page to my preview that says get all of the 100 guided notes for a certain percentage off.
Mm.
And like 5 to 10% of my monthly income comes from those preview upsells.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yes.
Tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you can put like clickable links in. So if you don't know, a preview on TPT is a PDF. And so you put a clickable link in the PDF, right?
Yes. Yeah. So the last page of the PDF is basically just an advertisement to the full year bundle.
So if they're looking at these individual notes and they're like, this looks great, and then they see, oh, I can get all of these for a discount, that's so smart
Yes.
to do that. Mhm.
It's easy to get someone else to do it too.
Right.
Yeah. Lauren Fulton had talked about hiring VAs and
Yeah.
I to do that specific thing. And I was thinking about it and I was like, my husband could do that. I wonder if he would want to. So I asked him and he was like, yeah, I'll do it. So that's been nice.
I love that. That's so smart. That's a really good tip. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I kind of want to talk about what has or how has TPT impacted your life? I know you talked about you're pregnant, you're about to have a baby, you're going to be leaving the classroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that because of your TPT sales?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, that's what it was. There was a lot more that went into me leaving the classroom this year than just TPT, but it would not have been possible without my TPT sales. It kind of happened in stages though. So like when I first started TPT, it was just extra money, which was amazing. Like I said, as a two-teacher family, it was like, oh, we can go out to eat and not worry that we're spending too much money. I can stop and get Starbucks on the way to work.
Yeah.
Um, and then once I added the 7th grade in algebra, I had 3 full grade levels. I realized like, oh, I could probably make a full-time income with this. And this was right when education was starting to get really crazy with COVID. So I think that that motivated me more. Like my intention was never to leave the classroom, but I just wanted to have that possibility because I saw the way that education was going.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I loved teaching, but sitting down and thinking about it, it's just not really a flexible career. And when my husband and I seriously started talking about having a family, doing TPT on the side while I get to stay home just sounded like a much better option than having to drop my daughter off at daycare.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And you'll never get those years back, you know? So I always say do what's best for your family for
Yeah.
sure. And man, that's so exciting.
Yes, I'm
Did
so
you
excited.
ever, I mean, was this always the plan when you had a baby, you were going to stay home or is,
No. Oh
yeah,
my gosh, I never in a million years thought that I would be able to do this. It's still like surreal that I'm about to have a baby and I don't have to worry about going back
yeah,
to the classroom.
dropping the baby off at 6 weeks. Yeah, I remember that feeling. That's exactly why I left the classroom too.
Yeah.
Ah, that's so exciting. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
Okay, and you don't have to give specific numbers, but I do want to ask because I know everyone's gonna be like, well, how much is she making? Are you doing like 3 figures a month, 4 figures a month? What kind of income
It's
is
four to
possible?
five, 4 to 5 a month. I one thing that I have been very pleased with this summer, because summer is a huge drop
Yeah.
in TPT. I've actually still made my teacher salary in June and July on
Incredible.
TPT. So that was reassuring that I made the right decision.
Yes. Uh, such a like a sigh of relief. Like you don't have to worry about that right now.
Yes.
DBT is pretty passive once you set it up.
Yes.
And you have the products, you make them once and then they continue to sell for you. So you can actually take a maternity leave, but then,
Hmm.
ready to go back, you can just make more products, send some
Yeah.
emails, get some more sales.
So that was another thing. I had to weigh whenever I was thinking about should I stay in the classroom or not. Obviously, there's more reasons to be in the classroom than your paycheck, but that's why we're there, right? It's your job. And my time in the classroom, my paycheck was stagnant. And I got stuck with not the best schedule last year, and I had lunch duty. And every day that I was at lunch duty, I was like, I could be at home making a TPT product and it would probably increase my income, but here I am
Yeah.
at lunch duty. So that was another thing that was motivating, is just my time monetarily became more valuable when I was working on TPT.
Right. You have a little more control of your income, whereas to make more as a teacher, you have to get more degrees or get into like an admin role.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's a really good point. You actually have more control of your income.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, this has been so good. I'm just so thrilled for you. So I ask everyone on my podcast this, what is one act of generosity, which you're about to give birth, so that's a big one. That's a big one. You're about to be a mom, but an act of generosity that you have done recently or plan to do.
I was talking to my husband about this. I don't think it's really one act, but it's just allowed us to live more generously. I talked about how at the beginning, whenever I started making a little extra money, we didn't think twice about going out to eat an extra day or something. But it's the same thing with giving now. Like if we see that someone in our community or our family or friends need something, we don't have to think twice about helping them with
Yes.
that. So I feel like it's just allowed us to live a more generous lifestyle, and we definitely plan to keep doing that.
Yes, that is so important. Like making more money doesn't always have to be selfish. It can be just a way for you to be more generous. And I feel like getting money in the hands of generous people is so important in today's crazy world.
Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. This has been awesome. So tell everyone where they can find you, where you hang out online, if you have maybe a freebie to share.
So I'm on Teachers Pay Teachers, YouTube, and Instagram as Mrs. Casillas Math. And then my Shopify store, we will see when that gets going with
Yeah.
the birth of my baby in a week or so. But eventually that'll be open at casillasmath.com. And if you are a math teacher, I have a math freebie with my guided notes and videos that I've been talking about through this episode. It's notes.casillasmath.com.
Perfect. And we'll put all those links in the show notes so you can just go down there and click and check them out. Thank you so much, Lauren. This has been amazing. Congratulations. I can't wait
Thank
to see
you.
pictures of the baby and
Yes.
best of luck
Thank you. Great talking to you.
too.